Hello and welcome to the Punters Guide. A little bit different look this week. Obviously, the weather wreaking havoc in this country. We've lost Ascot already. We're fingers crossed that Haydock does get the go-ahead. We'll hear from Jason Weaver a little later on Lingfield because that will beat the freeze on the all weather. But Joel is with us, and well, Haydock a little bit more hopeful than they were about 24 hours ago on Thursday after a decent night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about 25 minutes from the course here, and my back garden's still white over. It's about 3 degrees at the minute, and going to work this morning at 4 o'clock, it wouldn't have been on. But if it stays like this, no snow overnight, and the frost gets out of the ground, there is a good chance. And bearing in mind, it's Haydock, isn't it? It might as well be an island. So out of all the courses in the country, if anyone's going to go ahead, it'll be Haydock. So fingers crossed, see what happens.
It's going to be testing, isn't it?
Well, it's always testing, isn't it? I mean, that's not what it says in the go description, but it's always going to be testing. A lot of the Irish people say they've got you've got good to soft, soft, heavy, and then you've got Haydock soft, Haydock heavy, and yeah, it's going to get some getting, but hopefully it'll go because it's a good day. This.
It certainly is. We'll start with a look at the race, and then the 1:30 will be the first race, hopefully, in front of the TV cameras. The Supreme Trial, as it is, the Rossington Main. These are youngsters, so it's going to be tough for some of them. War Soldier and Matata met here recently, finished first and second, but Pembroke for the Skeletons, they're just clearing up at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, they've gone from that weekday team who were knocking them in left, right, and centre. They come to Saturdays, and it was now happening. Whereas every Saturday now they're looking for their big Saturday horses. And doing the stats this morning, Skelton has won this race twice since I think it was at 2015 or something like that. No, it's been very impressive on all starts so far. Will relish the ground as well. But I just thought at the short price there, I was value hunting. And on New Year's Day, you saw that horse of Paul Nicholls, Toothless. That won by 35 lengths for Bryony Frost over from France. The form in France wasn't out to be excited about. You can look at certain races visually, and if you're looking at this one, did an out wrong, jumped, travelled, kept going, just the one run, and 9-2, 5-1. It might be just worth having a little play until you've seen the ground after the 1:30. I wouldn't be involved too heavy, but if I'm having a little Saturday play, got the fire on, and a reminder as well, it's on ITV3 this week, the racing, so I can never find it. If it's not on ITV4, we all will be a bit cheesed off because on the buses ain't on. But no, Toothless, little play in front of the fire on a cold Saturday afternoon, about 9-2, 5-1, and see what happens. Might do now, but visually on the eye, look good.
Did, yeah, won very easily, didn't it? At Fakenham and Paul Nicholls dropping it in at the deep end. Right, let's talk about the Tour of Five. It's a champion hurdle trial in name. In nature, I mean, you've got two. Epatante may go for the mare. She will be suffered better for that. You've got I Like to Move at the Great Wood winner. And according to the market, it's just a match, Joel.
Yeah, Joel, nice to meet you. How you doing, Match? I mean, champion hurdle trial. So Epatante will be supplementing for the mares after Nicky forgot to enter the horse. But I tell you what, he's picking up the tab for that, isn't he? So fair play to him. That'll set him back a few quid. Look, I mean, it's best form on offer, isn't it? As Frankie would say, the Connie Hill form, second to Connie Hill. I Like to Move it. The horse we've put up so many times is a very good handicapper, and I think you're looking for the straight forecast. I can never get Manila Dream right either. So I'd put a line through that. It can stay on.
That's because it's called Manila Drama.
That's right, yeah, because I haven't got my glasses on. That's why. I can never get Manila Dreams right. Look at me, I'm trying. So, yeah, that's why I can't get it right. So I think it's the obvious forecast if now else goes wrong. But it'd be good to see Epatante just go and do her thing and pick up a few quid for a trainer who probably needs the dough.
Yeah, it does, yeah, if you're going to supplement it for the mares. Right, the Peter Marsh, of course, one of the heroes of Haydock is Bristol Demar, who won this 6 years ago as a sprightly 6-year-old. He's a bit more whiter now as a 12-year-old, but it's his ground, it's his conditions. Can he roll back the years?
Have you seen the horse in the flesh? TV, yeah, TV doesn't do it justice. It's a beautiful horse. Now, am I a punter or am I a racing fan? Because if I'm a racing fan, it's Bristol and May all day long. If I'm a punter, what you got to give £17 to the horse of Venetia's. We put that up when it won last time. It's got the best recent form. Cooper's Cross it's wrong at the weights, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gone for a conditional on here. I would have liked it a little bit more on the claim off. I mean, to be fair, I'd probably call Billy Locknan and see if he can get national hunt license for the weekend. I mean, that lad is flying on the flat. Look, I backed Bristol and May for the Gold Cup, and Fred gave me a 50 quid each way charity bet. We backed it 66-1, 2019, returned at 16s, and 2 out. I thought we'd won this. But that was, what, 3 years ago. 2 out, we'll fly, and then Annabelle Fly and Dalby Photo came back. As I'm scratching my head, I'm waffling, and I'm just going to tell you, I've got to go for Venetia and Fontaine Collonges. But I'll be happy to lose the bet this weekend if Bristol and May wins. And it was 7-1 early this week, and it's probably, is it second favourite, joint favourite at the time of recording, something like that. Yeah. So look, I just want to see Bristol and May get round and do his thing. But if we're having a bet this weekend, I think with the £17, Fontaine Collonges for Venetia and Charlie Deutsch.
There'll be some reception if the old boy does.
I love it. If I'm a fair weather fan. If it wasn't too cold, I wouldn't be going. Buying hospitality, so I ain't standing outside.
I spoke like a true fan. Right, 310 as well. Finally got a decent handicap to get stuck in a big field as well. We are paying first 3 here. What are your thoughts on that? Legislative, very eye-catching down the bottom. One in a bog at Kelso last time.
Yeah, again, well, it's probably favourite. I didn't even look at the prices on this one. When I was pricing it myself earlier on, I had that as favourite. I think I might have one for you though. A decent each way poke. Have you got any prices in yet? By the way,
not yet. Not yet.
No, I think it'll be a double figure price. Salvino for Sally Thompson and Ryan Mania. Been in the frame every single time it's run, bar twice, including them point to points as well. He's been sharing the ride with Bruce Lynn, claiming the 5. You always see him at Haydock. But Ryan's taking the ride this time, so they're claiming. Sally Thompson about 20% strike rate at the minute. Just going through this morning, this season, one at Kelso, second at Newcastle, second at Catterick, beaten the length both times, both on soft ground. Was beaten ahead at Carlisle. It can be held up, which I don't think will be an advantage on that ground tomorrow, but has won when raced prominent as well. So I think if he's kept handy, Salvino for a really decent each way play at a price. I think we're pretty much guaranteed to hit the frame as long as that goes wrong. That probably is the most confident selection out of the ones at Haydock this weekend. Take out the JP favourite, but as far as value seeking, because you don't know what's going to go on the ground or whatever. So Salvino, a little 5 each way, I think show you a nice little profit.
Salvino then, in 310, fingers crossed. Ramani, of course, had a great 2023 so far. What would be the best bet? Where are we off to? Steeple Downs, Hyderabad, Navan, I guess?
Well, I was looking at Maidan earlier on, and there's now that catches me eye there. Shartin, we're going to Navan in the 107, if it's on, by the way. And you might want to shake your head, or you might agree. I might have some in this. HMS Seahorse for Paul Nolan. Prices aren't available. I think will be a price. They have said it will be going to the Coral Cup. Now they've added be going to the Martin Pipe in 2 different interviews this week. I've read both of those. Was 4th at Cheltenham in the Fred Winter, behind of course Brazil and Gaelic Warrior. They got chinned. What a decent flat handicap at the Curragh. Since then, it said it's meeting 2 veg off. It didn't do anything. The Irish Savalrich on the flat. Look, there's 2 ways of looking at this. For anything else, and I can't find any betting for the Coral Cup or the Martin Pipe. So this might be the day. If not, it'll be given a nice quiet one. But I thought if this is the day on Saturday, I think the betting will tell you. You have a look at the betting 10 minutes before HMS Seahorse, and have a look as well for Drop the Anchor that's in there. It's been a tracker horse for a while. We thought it was going to Cheltenham, but one last time out. It's 14-1 for Coral Cup. And popped up last time at 16-1. I'm not exactly sure that was the plan.
Well, that was on the flat, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure because it drifted as well. Have a little go. HMS Seahorse in the 107 at Navan, probably double figure price.
There we are, 107 Navan. Fingers crossed that is on as well. So thanks to Joel then for previewing the Haydock card. No Frankie sadly this way. I think I would have told him to go and have a look at the mares for Cheltenham. He took it literally, and I should have meant the mares novice hurdle and the mares hurdle. So I think he's disappeared somewhere. But he'll be back with us hopefully on Monday for the road to Cheltenham, because that'll be coming live from Jack does. But that's Haydock covered. Hopefully that does beat the freeze. But Lingfield will. So let's join Jason Weaver get his picks for the all-weather card down at Lingers. Well, with Ascot being abandoned, here he is, as promised, off the subs bench. Jason Weaver's going to join us to look through to Lingfield. All-weather, keeping the show on the road, Jason. Thankfully, it is this time, because before Christmas, they've got to redub it most weather, because they also got canned. But it is keeping the show on the road this week in Britain.
It's keeping the show on the road. And I like the way you say off the subs bench or whatever, because there's just so many golden goal opportunities for everybody. Saturday, massive games up and down. And of course, I just love that lower level, down a grade. Be like me and you kicking it up and down the park. Little toe poke in the top corner. That'll do. Thank you very much. 1-1 in with the goals galore.
He loves the goals galore. Hopefully, he loves some winners at Lingfield as well. We're starting off the 137, then really interesting here. 12 set to go to post over 10 furlongs, but there could be a bit of a block potential. Very interesting one. Ryan Moore on board this Paris Lights.
Yeah, we have absolutely no idea how good he can be. What we do know that with a few runs so far under his belt, he has got a wonderful pedigree. He's a full brother to St. Mark's Basilica, who Ryan used to ride. Ryan comes in because he's getting warmed up, ready for the big meeting at Saudi. Now, he cost 650,000 at book one. So the team went in, the Bowie team, and they bought him for 60,000 at the horses in training sale. Not cheap for one with a pedigree like that, but he's already been gelded, so it's got no chance for him being a stallion with that wonderful pedigree. I would imagine he'll be punted off the boards, but the one that jumps off the page for me, Matt, is Sweet Fantasy. Her form ties in the Winter Oaks trial. We'll talk about the Oaks a little bit later on. That form is absolutely rock solid. She comes in here, she probably could have had a chance to arm over there. They've dropped back down a grade, if you like, in the Class 4 company. Ross Orion's red hot. Beckett could do with stepping it up a little bit, but that combination, I think they'll be overlooked, and her form is very strong.
Yeah, Sweet Fantasy then. Ross Ryan is in red hot form. You mentioned this week, doubles at Wolves on Wednesday, Kempton on Thursday as well. Let's move on to the 212 and a 7 furlong handicap. A couple of last time out winners in here to focus on maybe Poetic Force and the hat-trick seeking Lord Rapscallion, but this looks a wide open handicap again.
Yeah, big sort of long sprint specialists in here. Lord Rapscallion, 76, 80. He runs off 83 today, probably just about within reach. Some good pace runners in here barging through. He's got a good record on the all-weather, 2 from 5. Miss Bella Brand likes to push forward. Is a 5-time winner for Ilka and her team. One of the smaller trainers who does incredibly well with limited ammunition. But again, if we were talking about horses shipping from different places, Million Thanks. Now, he's gone across to Kevin Philippart de Foy's. They picked him up from the sale, 16,000. He's had a couple of equipment changes. He gets the tongue tie on. He's also lost the wedding tackle, the cruelest cut of all, the gelding operation, as far as he's concerned. Drops back in trip. Now, I think that could be absolutely key. On the whole, he's been sort of campaigned a mile and 1. He comes back down in distance. First run for a red-hot team. And Daniel Muscat, talk about a breakthrough season. It was spectacular last year for him, and he's continued that run. So I think that Million Thanks will give you a big run for your money.
A Million Thanks then. It will be Million Thanks if he goes in there. Right, the feature race on what is day one. It might be the only day of the Winter Million at Lingfield, with day one being abandoned, of course, over the sticks, is the Winter Oaks. The 1-2 from the trial 3 weeks ago, Agaila and Making Me Do It, line up once again. Can the form be turned around with this Agaila? Very progressive on the hat-trick bid for Simon and Ed Crisp.
There's a big turnaround at the weights, isn't there? £10, but anybody who looks back at that bit of form will think that, £20 may be enough to slow Agaila down for the Crispin team, but it was just a bloodless victory. Very, very slow to learn her trade in the early stages of her career, and then has bounced into form, just been spectacular. That was her first try up in trip. So I think that that's a massive positive. So anything that was behind her, I couldn't really see those turning around. Morgan Ferry, only her second try stepping up in trip, has to be a player. Marquand and Haggis, that combination, won't be hearing of them in a couple of weeks. They'll be down in Australia competing for all the big money down there. And at the top of the pile, Purple Ribbon, the horses around her when she got beat last time, Siskany, who'd been competing in Group 1s, Berkshire Rocco came out and absolutely bolted up in the fast track qualifier at Southwell. He's heading off to Saudi, and he will be back for the all-weather finals as well. So I see a bit of a matchup here. Purple Ribbon, Agaila. I think that James Doyle's come back for a very decent ride here. I think that Agaila continue that run. 240,000 euros she was as a yearling. Matchup, her 1 and 3, but 3 to come out on top.
Agaila then to follow that trial victory with a win itself in the Winter Oaks. And the 322, a sprint, a 5 furlong sprint. Hopefully the dead 8 do set to go to post. And a few informed contenders. Is it one of those cases of whose turn is it this time around?
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker, and you could go round and round. You're right with the sprinters; they do take it in turns. Just one extra word about that filly we were talking about, Agaila. She's got an entry in the Winter Derby. That may be something that they decide to go for. If that is the case, and you feel that she's strong here, maybe if you can have a look at the prices, she might be a massive price. If she was to go and bolt up in the Oaks, if you like, they may well feel, she's only on a rating of 90. She needs to jump up a good bit from there. But just to give everybody a heads up, if they're thinking of having an anti-post punt, the sprinters, Strong Power went through the gears. I wanted to give the Bell Conductor a chance. He's going to be the likely pace in here with Paul Mulrennan coming down to ride him. Stone of Destiny, I do not envy Daniel Muscat at all. He's great on a straight track. Around the turn, he's like, I don't think you're old enough, Matt, are you? Your first car, did it have power steering? Did it? I'm not sure.
No, it didn't.
Oh, and you were just having to wheel it around. Trust me, he does not go around the turns too well, this lad, Stone of Destiny. He's not going to be an easy conveyance, so I don't envy Danny Muscat. Silky Wilkie, I've been looking at all the apprentices who are got a chance for the Champion Apprentice title, not just on the all-weather, for the grass as well. And Billy Loughnane has been talking about him. This young lad can ride, Sam Fielding. Very, very talented. He gets a few opportunities for Carl Burke. And if he could just light the touch paper, I think he might be lacking a bit of confidence. But if he shows the people that he's got what it takes, and this is a real good opportunity for him to showcase his talents. And I think comes in as the form horse. So Silky Wilkie, down to the minimum, £7 claimer to keep an eye on.
Yeah, certainly is. There's loads of young kids about, well worth their claiming gold, shall we say. So there's the 4 at Lingfield. Obviously, we're waiting for news. Fingers crossed Haydock does get the go-ahead. What will be your strongest bet of those 4, Jason, on the card at Lingfield on Saturday?
As far as those 4 are concerned, look, we have no idea how good Paris Lights is for George Bowie. But if there's an each-way look about Sweet Fantasy, I think her form is strong. She could easily get a slice of it around about 7-8 to 1. And she'd be the each-way player and could go and win, because we're guessing with Paris Lights. Ryan Moore coming off the bench to ride at Saudi. A little earlier on the card, 2 minutes past 1. Great times, aren't they? 2 minutes past 1 for Beau Gest, however you want to say it, who goes for Molly Gunn. You're looking for just her second winner. Tony Carroll gives some of the young apprentices a real good opportunity. Dangerously well handicapped. Ran a cracker over 7 last time. Bit of an eye catcher. Will appreciate the return to the mile. So keep an eye on that. But I suppose if we're looking at the others, I do like the look of Sweet Fantasy, and I'll be having a crack at the goals.
Certainly, yes, have a crack at the goals. Got a big weekend of football not to forget. So, yeah, looking forward to the Lingfield action. That will beat the weather, as I say. No Ascot this weekend, but fingers crossed for Haydock. Thanks to Jason for getting off the bench. Hopefully he scored a winner or 2 at Lingfield on Saturday afternoon. As always, please, whatever you're back in, gamble responsibly.